This is 365 Sports, powered by Sikkim365.com. Welcome to the Triple Option. Here's your host, Paul Catalina.
Ready. What a dumbass way to start off the show. Look, we try new things all the time. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. As a matter of fact...
Put your mic down a little bit, Royden.
Yeah. We can't see your beautiful face.
Or my crazy hair right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll put this back on.
So anyway, right at the top of the show, Royden, I just told you this as you walked in the door, albeit 3 minutes late. But it's okay.
Look.
Yeah, it's okay.
I slept in.
That's fine.
I don't have any other
Look,
excuse.
It's fine. We're not like, this is not radio or like network television where like if you don't hit the top of the show,
if I was 3 minutes late for my hit, I wouldn't have a hit at KWTX.
Yeah.
But here, loosey-goosey.
So Buzz Williams has left Texas A&M for Maryland. So
shocking, actually.
Right before we get into it, I just want to start off with a bit I just came up with.
Oh, okay.
I have come up with, and I think I'm going to try to do this, I often find headlines to be amusing and sometimes are not as creative as I want. So I'm going to give you, I came up with 4 right now.
Sure.
Just right off the thing of headlines you could see of Buzz Williams related headlines.
Sure.
Okay. And they're all, like, I will tell you, they are all puns.
Okay.
So I'm warning.
You made these. These aren't.
I made these.
Okay, cool.
These are all puns that I just came up with. What, Garrett, 7 minutes ago?
I was about to say, within like the past 5 minutes.
Yeah.
This just
so I
came
just
down.
did this. I just did this.
You got a spot at the Tribune waiting on you.
Yeah. Yeah. Newspapers around the world, just be ready to watch in awe.
Okay, I'm ready.
I'm looking at you, New York Post. I'm ready for the big time. Because they're the best at
the punny headlines.
Yeah. Okay. Buzz off to Terps.
No,
Garrett.
Beat.
You could do better, but it's
I can
good.
do better.
I see where you're going.
Okay. Buzz failed to move Aggies light years ahead.
Okay. Well, we
That's
like it. A
good.
Toy Story
I like that.
reference.
Yeah, there we go. And it's from the Aggies' perspective, and it's like Billy Lucci, like writing that column about, where he took the Aggie basketball.
Yes,
program
absolutely. Okay, I'm tracking.
Okay.
That's a good one.
All right. Buzz cuts ties with Aggies,
Buzz cut.
especially with A&M.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that.
That one's really good. That one's really good. Okay, and here's the last one. This is for when he gets to Maryland.
Okay.
And they have he gets off the plane and they have people with pom-poms and stuff. Buzz the Tower, new Terps coach lands in Maryland.
Okay, so we have a Top Gun reference.
Yeah.
We have a haircut reference.
Yeah.
And a Toy Story reference.
Yeah.
What about
and a Buzz and they just go away.
where is Maryland located?
College Park.
College Park.
College Park. Yeah.
What about College Park?
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. I got one. Hold on. I gotta write it out first.
This is great radio.
Yeah.
College Park.
Okay, I got it. Catching a Buzz. College Park.
Yeah.
Lands new coach.
Exactly where I was going. It was like College Park buzzing with anticipation.
Yeah.
Catching a buzz. Yeah, I was going drunk.
Yeah. Get your buzz on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. So
I think we made it.
yeah, I think that's it.
Why? Okay, so there was.
I want this segment clipped and put on Instagram immediately, Andrew.
People are gonna love that one on Reels.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, so somebody was flirting with that job in the middle of a Final Four run. I mean, I think they got eliminated in the Elite Eight. Who was it that was flirting with a Maryland job?
I don't think anybody it was him. I mean, like he was always
but I feel like their
Maryland coach was always going to go to Villanova.
That's what it was. Okay,
Yeah,
so the Maryland coach,
go.
Maryland
And he
coach,
was mad.
even after the win against Colorado State,
he was mad.
Yeah, was like, I'm out. And then the assistant coach had to do their like team meeting ahead of their Elite Eight game or something. Sweet 16. I can't remember.
So anyway, he was really mad, and everybody knew he was going to leave. Now Kevin Willard is his name. He's the new coach at Nova.
Yeah.
And he was mad about his NIL budget, which was actually really high and more than most, but they committed to this, and it wasn't good enough. Maryland also doesn't have an athletic director right now, which is why, at first I thought that's why Buzz Williams won't want to go. But I've now changed my tune on that. That's exactly why Buzz Williams wants to go, because right now he can go and get everything he wants without an athletic director in his way to stop him until that happens.
Is that the buzz around the news?
Oh, God, that's great.
Okay.
That's great.
You're hearing the buzz around that?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's, you know what? Well done, sir.
Yeah,
you understood the assignment.
I've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
So Maryland has a good NIL budget, but not what Villanova was going to, because Villanova, it's the only show in town, right?
Well, they don't have a Division I football team.
They don't have a so it is the
with house settlement. So here's the thing, that this is the first time we've seen this so far, but it came up last week. Ross Dellinger wrote an article in Yahoo about, and it was the SEC and Big Ten mostly sounding the alarm. It's funny to me that the Big 12 wasn't, or ACC weren't really quoted in this, because they're kind of like, well, yeah, I mean, we know this is what we agreed to,
right?
But it's like the SEC, they just figured out that okay, well, if you have 85% dedicated to football and this much dedicated to basketball and this much dedicated to everything else, or whatever it is, well, the schools that don't have a football team, say Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Or Villanova that just have a Division I football team, well, they can take their money and push it
UConn in name only.
Yeah. They can take their money and push it all to men's basketball. So the SEC and Greg Sankey, he was very clever about it, because Greg Sankey's very clever, but he was like, well, this is certainly a development that bears watching. We have to look over it, which is him going oh, no, wait. We didn't mean for this to benefit anybody else in any other way. Even when we made the settlement, we thought we were still screwing over everybody else. It turns out we it's like the Death Star. There's one little
oh no,
one little hole.
You left that port open for what?
Yeah. Makes me remember the.
Why is there an air vent at the top of this mountain in Top Gun Maverick? Why is that? Why is that exposed?
Yeah. But yeah, it reminds me. Did you ever see the Family Guy that they did about Star Wars?
Oh, the Blue Harvest.
Blue
Harvest. Yeah, I've seen it.
They did all
bits and pieces. Yeah,
they did all 3 Star Wars movies, and in the first one, there's a scene where when they show the Death Star laser firing, and this just shows you how obsessed, and only people who've seen it as much as Seth MacFarlane or me or you would get the reference, and that there's guys they're standing there.
Yeah, the 2 guys.
The 2 guys are standing there, and the beam goes behind them, and they zoom into those guys. They say, "Listen, I told them they can keep their dental, they can keep all that. I just want a rail. I just want one rail right here." And then the other guy goes, "Oh, I asked them about that. You know what they said? They said we'd be leaning all day."
I've thought about those 2 guys since I saw that movie in 1998, when I was like, wait, why are they there? And they duck. They're ah!
Yeah, they're there. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So just going back, A&M.
And this is
I feel like A&M would be a good job, and he's done a good job. He went to A&M. He wasn't fired.
College Park is buzzing on Maryland's official tweet about it.
Nice. Nice.
Sorry,
my fellow Americans.
I did not mean to interrupt, Royden, but congratulations. We have a winner. It was the lamest one.
Yeah, no, hey, look. I never said that these were revolutionary.
But they went.
I never said that these, but.
By the way, they did it a minute ago. There's a chance that they were watching.
They better have been.
This show.
We
did it 10 minutes ago.
Need a little reparations for that.
Yeah, we need a little kickback.
That's incredible. Wait, was that Maryland's official tweet?
This is their official tweet.
Incredible.
College Park is buzzing. Maryland welcomes Buzz Williams as his new head coach.
Yeah. Hey. Sign the check.
Yeah.
Terps.
Yeah.
You got it, apparently.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, I mean, we're just asking for 12%.
Yeah.
With a kicker on the back end.
Retainer.
Exactly.
Retainer.
Exactly. So, but anyway, back to your, Buzz was.
Well, he left Virginia.
They were good. They were good at A&M. They were not great.
No, it was kind of an uphill battle. I mean, they hadn't succeeded before he got there, and really he was walking into a semi-rebuild of that program. And I think when he first got there, if I remember correctly, they weren't immediately successful, but he turned them into a top 25 program because they were not ahead from when he got there. I mean, they had moderate success, but they weren't sort of that consensus top 25 that you would think that somebody with the prowess of A&M should be. Whereas you're getting outgunned by in-state rivals, albeit not in the same conference. You're getting outgunned by Baylor. You're getting outgunned by Houston. You're getting outgunned by SMU at points. And Texas, up and down, if you will, but have had relative success in basketball, albeit where I don't think where Texas basketball wants to be. You know what I'm saying? But Texas A&M just didn't have the success in basketball. He turned them into a top 25 program. And I believe, was he fired at Virginia or did he leave Virginia?
He left Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech.
Yeah, he left.
He left because he had ties to Texas A&M.
He's from Texas.
Yeah, he's from Texas.
Yeah.
So it just feels like does it feel like a lateral move to you? I think
it is a step up because Maryland is a basketball school, and all basketball coaches want to be at basketball schools.
True.
It's the there's true
you're always going to be second fiddle at
here's
Texas
the deal.
A&M.
One of the things I thought was funny when Chip Brown put it out last week, Garrett, when we were and when the Sean Miller hadn't been officially hired, was that Bill Self has always been intrigued by the Texas job. Look, first of all, Bill Self is probably not coaching
anywhere other than Kansas.
Well, no, I mean very much longer. I think he's 2-3 years. Maybe.
You really think so?
I do. Yeah, I really do. He had the heart problems, and apparently he's remodeled his house that he has down in Florida. Those kind of things. He's going to be golfing.
His wife is searching for homes in Austin, Texas.
Yeah, none of that. But it was always that. Always been intrigued by the Texas job. That old, Austin language about how every coach wants to live in Austin. Bill Self would never take a job. If he say he retired from Kansas and then 5 years he just gets the itch to coach again. He's not going to go to a football school. Because he's going to, Kansas is a basketball school. Kansas has to convince their fans to give money to the football program, and they need a Lance Leipold to do that. They don't need to convince them to give money to the basketball program.
Right.
It's just what they do. Now they've had to always ask for more because things go up and up and up and up and up. And, but they, I think he wants to be at a basketball school. Maryland is a basketball school. They're not a football school as much as they may want to be.
They had a Tagovailoa.
Yeah. Look, crab cakes in football refers to the Ravens, not the. Not
what
the
Maryland does.
Yeah. That's the Ravens, not
right.
And the fact that I guess the Commanders are there right now too.
Yeah.
Are they in Landover? Yeah. For now,
They are in Maryland.
Yeah. Although I would not be bragging about that team since they moved to Maryland. All their good history is in DC.
It is.
Yeah. It's actually in, which is I think where they're going to go back to.
I think they're going to revitalize RFK.
Yeah, I think they're going to.
I hope
they're going to spruce that up.
Wait, are they not in Virginia?
Their offices are in Virginia.
Yeah.
Okay.
The stadium is in Landover,
Maryland.
Maryland.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and here's the thing about that area: it's all the same.
Pretty much.
It's all one big city.
Yeah. It's like, I wonder if you like cross the border and like the crab cakes get more disgusting and like the other way, like whatever you get is like better.
I have a
Like-
friend that kind of grew up in that area. He'd probably tell you that the crab on this side is different than.
Well, yeah, because it's got to go across the border in a truck. It's
Yeah.
not like right out of the Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. No, I get it. I get you. You know, the best crab cake I've ever had was at the Baltimore airport. So on the way,
they got a point.
I got a layover after Providence coming back.
I can't believe you trusted a crab cake at an airport.
In Providence, in Baltimore, I did.
Oof.
I mean, like, look, here's the thing. The hot
Yeah,
chicken.
I got this sushi at this gas station.
The hot chicken at like the airport in Nashville is better than the hot chicken you're going to hear. Now, like if I was getting hot chicken in Baltimore, then I'm stupid. But crab cake, I mean, like they had, and it was like True Lux or like one of the famous like
Phillips
companies.
or whatever.
What?
Like Phillips. I think it's Phillips.
Phillips.
That's
Yeah, it was Phillips. Thank you. Phillips. It was Phillips. And so like they have a reputation. The last thing they want is like, hey, I was in the Baltimore airport and I had this crab cake and it tasted like,
I'm just more worried about getting at 30,000 feet and having trouble. All of a sudden, you are in the bathroom because you decided to trust a crab cake from an airport.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, no, it was fine. It was fine. It was delicious. Look, the best Cuban sandwich I'd had until like I actually spent time in Miami was at Miami International Airport. It was unbelievable. And like an actual Cuban guy made it, so he was like, "Look, this is for this for la ciudad, right?" Like
Yeah.
he's like, I'm not gonna misrepresent just because I had this crappy job at an airport. Like la cultura, yeah. I'm gonna get it right. So,
What do you think about I mean, you're from the area, but you grew up with the Boston Red Sox. But what do you think about the Rays? Just straight up. I mean, I guess they're paying the Yankees for their state. They're just
renting it, yeah.
Yeah, they're just playing in that minor league stadium because they
I'm sure
just
Major
did,
League Baseball's helping out with it.
Yeah, they just didn't put a roof back on their stadium
Well, it's
because
way
it was
worse
wrecked.
than that. Yeah, it's way worse than that. That stadium was a piece of crap with a roof.
You know what's funny is that you're now seeing full Tampa Bay Rays baseball games.
Yeah,
They're like sold out.
yeah.
Because it's crazy what you can do with only 10,000 fans.
Yeah, and most of the fans in Tampa are Yankees fans anyway. Always have been. It's Yankee City, like
I feel like most of the fans in Florida are fans of other teams.
for baseball for sure.
Yeah.
for baseball for sure, because they all moved down from somewhere else. And so, like, then all of a sudden, Major League Baseball like gave them two teams. They're like, "This is your favorite team now," and they're like, if they're good.
Miami accidentally wins 2 World Series. Like,
Yeah. No, I have never, ever in my life met a dyed-in-the-wool Marlins fan.
oh, really?
Never. And it's like the Marlins do nothing to try to rope in fans right now. Like, what was the biggest thing they did? They let Derek Jeter run the team for a little while. He's not even a Marlin. Like that. Yeah. No.
They
and
removed that monolith from the outfield.
And the Rays made this deal with the city of St. Petersburg that the city of St. Petersburg just kept like, it was a bad deal because they kept just opting into it. And they were like, well, we'd like to build a new stadium like in Tampa with a retractable roof down in the Bay. And they're like, opting in again. Suck it, Rays. You're going to be here until you die. And then now the hurricane hits and they're probably going to have to sell the team. And I would assume that like,
The idea-
I'm going to tell you, in 5 years, if the Rays are still in the Bay Area in Tampa, I'll be shocked. I think they're going to be in Nashville or Charlotte or Portland, Oregon, or somewhere. Like,
Montreal.
Montreal.
They always flirt with that, but it's
I don't
probably
think
Nashville.
Montreal's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but yeah,
It's probably Nashville. But
it's probably like it's not like Nashville and Charlotte to me are the ones who are going to like get out there and like as soon as they go to market, you're going to see groups from both those cities be like, well, it's time to bring him here.
Yeah,
You know.
the idea that you could house I've always liked the Rays as sort of a concept of what they do with no money. They're like the A's if the A's were good, and the idea of what they do. I know this is a basketball football podcast, but the idea of what they've been able to do with like no money and the sustained success that they've had is just baffling. But like, the idea that you're going to base a team, as somebody that's been down to Tampa several times now to cover sports, St. Petersburg is so far from Tampa. It's like it ends up being like, we're going to call you the Houston Astros, but we're going to put you in Katy, Texas. What?
Yeah.
It's so far.
Yeah.
It's and the fact that you could think that you could stay in a fan base, basing your thing in St. Petersburg is wild. Anyway, sorry. No. I just saw that the other day.
No. I sent a text to David Nuno from Texags to see if he could give me any idea on who they would even be thinking about.
Yeah.
Because I really don't know. Like, I'm not sure, like, who has contact. Like, there's always someone out there that you're like, oh, they'll call this guy. And
Mark
then
Few.
Yeah. I have a cousin who asked me about that the other day, and I was like, look, he's
made in the shade.
He's made in the shade. Like, and he's got 5 years or so left before he.
I think a lot of these old school, like, these coaches that have won at the high, granted, Mark Feud, they haven't won a championship, but these coaches that have had this success before all of this transfer portal stuff has hit. I mean, that's why you saw Williams, or not Williams, Jay Wright.
Yeah.
Just call it quits. He's just like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't think these old school coaches want to deal with it that much.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're right in saying that, like, some of these tenured coaches, which would probably be the better word, we'll just see more and more of them just, like, if they don't have the kind of success that they're accustomed to having, peace. I don't want to deal with this anymore. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's weird. And A&M, we talked about this yesterday on 365 Sports. They are perpetually, like, just coming up short. They get a guy that they like. It doesn't, like, they think, okay, Jimbo Fisher's going to change things. He doesn't. Okay, now we've got to go and, like, really get deep on this. Oh, hey, look, we've got Buzz Williams. Like, that's a basketball coach's basketball coach. Like, that guy, he's a dude who can take a football school and inject basketball life into it. Plus, then in the SEC, they're awash in money. They can do whatever they want. They can go get players. And Buzz did that pretty well. I mean, they were good, but they weren't great. And A&M basketball has never been great. Like, they've had good seasons, like Billy Gillespie. They've had good seasons under Mark Turgeon. They've had good seasons, under Billy Kennedy, and they've had good seasons under Buzz Williams. They've never had a great season. They've just never done that. But, like, and they have the resources to do it. They are, and not for lack of trying, there are athletic departments that, for the better part of 30 years, Arizona State hasn't been trying as hard as they could. Like, I think it took the Pac-12 falling apart to get them to go, like, oh, hey, like, we're in this new conference. We're in one of the cooler cities in the conference. It's easy for everybody to get to. We've got this, really attractive campus. The school's better than its reputation was for a long time as, like, a safety school. It's gotten way better than that. But it was. I mean, it had that reputation. A lot like UCF, right? So as our UCF spent all this time, like, pouring resources into improving athletics so they could get the attention for what all the other good things are going to the university. Bart Crow and Arizona State weren't doing that. They were kind of like, oh, it'll happen. Herm Edwards, sure, we'll do that. That'll work. And they have all these resources, and they weren't trying. So they were an underachieving athletic department because they weren't trying. A&M is the most underachieving athletic department who tries. I mean, they try. You cannot. So, like, this is a program that tries, but they don't really know how to get out of their own way enough. And then, look, you have, like, an example in basketball right now. You were ahead of Texas in basketball. You're not going to be now with Sean Miller going there, unless you can counter that higher. You were ahead of them for a little bit. Now you're behind again.
Who's the Ole Miss coach that was at Texas?
What?
Who's the Ole Miss coach that was at Texas?
Chris Beard.
You think they'll?
I mean, I think they
throw some money at Beard as a little FU to Texas. Probably not, but like
no, I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it. I mean, if they do, fine, whatever. I just don't think he's a very good guy. I think that's going to cause more problems than it's worth. And maybe like this is Schlossnagel revenge, but but because of that, and the thing is they're trying, the thing is they can't get out of their own way because they're so obsessed with one of the 15 schools they have to compete with every year. One of them. They're not obsessed with Alabama. They're not obsessed with Georgia. They're not obsessed with Tennessee. They're not obsessed with Ole Miss. They're not obsessed with Florida. They're not obsessed with Oklahoma, who they were in the same league with for 20 years. They're not obsessed with them. They're obsessed with Texas. Obsessed. And until that gets worked out in their organizational psyche, this is going to keep happening.
But it would take winning. It would take beating them handedly in everything for years for that to work itself out.
Or you just focus on the whole. You just focus on everything.
Well, that takes therapy. We all know that it's tough for Texas men to work on themselves.
Yeah, it's true. But that's the thing that they keep falling behind in. And look, and Texas absolutely last year took advantage of it. Absolutely last year took advantage of it when they hired Jim Schlossnagle. I mean, they knew. Chris Del Conte knew that not only would
throwing their weight around a little bit.
This has shockwaves through the whole athletic department because then it ratchets up the rivalry even more. And it's already irrational hate on both sides anyway. Both sides. The thing is that Texas is better at pointing their ire in multiple directions. They don't like A&M at all. They also hate Oklahoma. But they also know that hey, if we're going to be, and this is mostly now because I think of Chris Del Conte has put them in that direction. If we're going to be, and they didn't, and look, Texas is guilty of this as much as any school, but the schools in Texas particularly really were more concerned about beating each other than being the best overall. And that's why Florida State, Florida, and Miami in the 90s were so dominant because they did care a lot about beating each other. They really, those rivalries were big, but their goals were not only that, but we're going to beat Notre Dame, and we're going to beat Nebraska, and we're going to beat, and we're going to beat Alabama and Georgia and whoever comes in our way. That's who we want to beat. If we're going to play Michigan, we're going to beat Michigan. We're going to beat Ohio State. Florida always had the SEC thing. So that kind of maybe helped them because the SEC has a better culture when it comes to that. But Miami and FSU were independents before they joined conferences. So they never really had to worry about they never had that. The built-in rivalry was just with the state schools and not this whole state thing of we have to be the best here. The Southwest Conference thing has bled so much over into the future iterations of schools in Texas, but particularly A&M and Texas, to where for a long time they just cared so much about beating each other. And you're like, yeah, but this is why you're in your best years 9th in the country and you're not winning national titles. And everybody thought the Southwest Conference was a joke and you had to move into the Big 12 was because you only cared about you, where everybody else, the Big 10, the SEC, the ACC, the major independents, the PAC, they cared about okay, I want to beat my rival, but I want to beat everybody. But you had Texas fans as long as we beat A&M and Oklahoma, I don't care what happens. And you're like, yeah, but if you lose to TCU and SMU that year, you're not going to get a chance to play Nebraska for the title or Miami for the title. And then when that Texas team that was really good played Miami in the Cotton Bowl, the Jimmy Johnson or Dennis Erickson Hurricanes, guess what happened? They got shredded. You know why? Only focused on there. The best thing is here. The best thing is here. The best athletes are here. No, they're not. They're not. You've got great athletes, but to think that this whole Texas is just better, partner. No. No. Your high school football is better. Yes, that's true. But your college football has won national titles since black people were allowed to play, and that's not a good thing. Am I wrong?
No, that's facts.
I mean, that's factually
that is
accurate.
facts.
One. The state of Alabama has a ton. The state of Florida has a ton. California has a couple. What do we? Ohio.
Hell, Louisiana's got 3.
Louisiana. A state equally as bigoted as yours. Alabama more than everybody else. More.
It's the Shane Gillis bit. Wait, the high school football team's 7-0?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, more. That's like, it's ridiculous. This set me off on a rant. I'm about to go off on another one, Royden, after the break.
I'm ready for it. Can I throw a name at you?
Yeah.
Ryan Ditcher at San Diego State.
Okay. That one would be
They're
all
getting
right.
pillaged. They made a Final Four, and they're getting pillaged every single year
Yeah.
for their players.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm calling him.
Okay.
He has no ties to Texas. In fact, he's like a Michigan guy,
Yeah.
but he's out in San. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're probably going to go the route of one of these mid-major schools. Hopefully, they can keep a guy for a long time that doesn't have the money, and all of a sudden we're throwing the money at him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, like right now, especially given like how do you go get another guy in the SEC? How do you go get some can you can maybe outbid
Rick
a school,
Barnes.
You can maybe outbid a school in the ACC that has a coach that you like.
Patino.
Yeah.
Bring him down.
Yeah. No, I think the New York guy in New York is working out.
He's
really
doing
well.
all right.
All right, when we come back at the end, but before the end of the show, we are going to get Royden's view on the Final Four and what he thinks is going to happen. But today is April Fool's Day.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, no,
It is.
It's April Fool's Day. I hate April Fool's Day.
Just one of many things, including parades.
I actually have removed some things like Halloween.
Yeah.
I've removed Halloween from my hate list. It's now on my. I'm on board.
Indifferent.
No, I'm on board. I think I'm on board.
You softy. You've gotten married, and look at what
And
happens.
it's really yeah. She's part of it. Like I was very bitter and jaded for a long time, and it's okay. Like I'm telling you, and this is just a model for society as a whole. Now, it's okay to admit you made a mistake.
Yeah.
And that you were wrong about everything you thought, and that now that you're in the face of overwhelming evidence to the contrary, it's okay to say, I'm wrong.
Nah.
I messed up with that.
Nah. I'm going to
I
double
won't
down.
do it again. I hate that I had to learn this way, but I was like that about Halloween. It's okay. Most people are wrong every day, all the time. Doesn't change the
Did you tell that
trajectory of
to our
things.
politicians about war plans on text messages?
I mean, like I was trying to speak around that, but
Sorry. Didn't mean to get political.
yeah, no. I mean, just it's okay to say like, hey, you know what? I kind of got tunnel vision on this, and I thought about like one thing, and then I didn't think about all the things, and now I get it. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. We, as human beings, learn stuff all the time. We used to think the earth was flat. Now, there still are some idiots out there who do. Mm-hmm. And they also intersect with the people who don't believe space travel is real because we have pictures of Earth. Like, we've been to the moon. We have pictures of it. So we can see it's round.
Photoshop.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I'm going to tell you why April Fool's Day has now jumped into
hate list.
a spot like you know what, Halloween, like a spot got vacated, and so I needed to fill it. It was an empty chair in the office of hatred. April Fool's Day has well surpassed it.
All right.
Well surpassed it. We're going to talk about that next. This is the triple option.
Revive Superfood Smoothies. Peel, blend, and enjoy. Fast and easy, and I'm out the door.
Life will test you. It'll turn your world upside down. Again. And again. And again. The only way to hit back is to stand up. Stand up every time. And say, I'm not done.
This is 365 Sports, powered by Sikkim365.com. Welcome to the Triple Option. Here's your host, Paul Catalina.
So, April Fool's Day is a horrible day.
Happy April Fool's Day to those who celebrate.
Yeah.
I'm here with you.
Okay, and here's why I think this. You ever meet a lawyer who, like...
No. Yes, I've met a few.
Who, like, if you ask them a question that sounds like you came out of Law and Order, they'll have to, like, tell you, like, look, what you see on Law and Order is not really a thing. Yeah. Or, like, going to a doctor and being like, hey, I was watching Grey's Anatomy. And they're like, okay.
Right.
I appreciate your asking.
I was on WebMD.
Yeah, exactly. So I am a comedian. That's something I take very seriously. I love it. It is most of my personality. I think most comedians feel this way. April Fool's Day is the day where non-comedians, of which there are way more than actual comedians. Like, it's, most people are not comedians. I know you have this look on your face like you're like, wow, yeah, yes, duh. So it's the day for non-comedians to try to, like, pull jokes, to feel like, to give themselves some sort of joy. And look, I'm all out there for all of this, but there are, it's gone too far. Like, and here's the thing, in the sports world, in the social media sports world, it really annoys me because everybody tries to do something. Like Tiger Woods did one today, like, oh, I'm going to play in the Masters.
Didn't he rupture his Achilles?
Yeah, that's why. Like, I was in the hyperbaric chamber, and it's all better now,
Got
like,
the LeBron steroids.
Yeah. Yeah. So I absolutely hate it. Like, I just can't stand it. I can't stand the lame jokes. I can't stand, like, a friend of mine just sent me the Arizona State field that we're going to talk about. And he's like, and look, here's the thing. I don't think it would be a terrible. It would be awesome. It would be awesome. They can't do it because it's in Arizona, and playing in September on that field will melt all the players.
What am I missing?
Oh, they put out a tweet of they were going to do an all maroon field with, like, yellow. Like the blue turf or whatever, red turf at Eastern Washington, blue turf at Boise.
Everyone died.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Like, in Eastern Washington, you can do that because you have no weather consequences to it. Yeah. A dark turf, it's already hot when it's green there. If you did maroon turf in Arizona.
Coach, my shoes are Milton.
In September, you'd be like, well, Arizona State lost today. 3-0 after Sam Levitt melted midfield. And
tragedy struck in Tucson.
Tempe,
sorry.
Yeah.
Tragedy struck in Tempe today as 18 coaches and 27 players
spontaneously combusted.
Yeah, spontaneously erupted from a 180-degree field.
Yeah. Said Arizona State, we did not think this out all the way.
Ooh.
Whoops. Yeah. That guy from the meteorology department really was.
He was on top of it. I didn't know.
On top of it. We kind of Dennis Quaided day after tomorrow him.
Yeah.
Sorry, didn't mean to do that to you, buddy.
Got to evacuate everyone south of this line.
Yeah, you're right. You're good. So
Paul, what you're telling me is you hate whimsy and fun. No, you hate whimsy.
Yeah, you know what? I've never been one that's whimsical.
Okay. Well,
You know, like, okay, here's the thing. When I think about things that like are often full of whimsy that I enjoy, like I enjoy a good Broadway show, but the Broadway shows I like are mostly the ones that are kind of dark. So there's not a lot of whimsy in them.
big death of a salesman guy.
Yes. Yeah. No. You know, like
Lily Loman was a hero.
The band's Visit is a show, a Tony Award-winning show that I went to see, and it has a wee bit of whimsy, a tiny bit of whimsy, but it's mostly about like Israel and Egypt and like, you know, conflicts and people learning about each other that like, you know, wouldn't talk to each other otherwise. It's a really beautiful story, and it's short. If you're going to go and see one on Broadway, and you're like, well, I don't want to be in here for 3 hours. Band's Visit. That's the one. Short.
Not
really
a Seussical guy.
Yeah. So, like, I would go see it. I'm sure after I saw it, I would be filled with whimsy. Mm-hmm. You know, Lion King, I would love to. Like, I would love to go see those things because seeing it, a lot of people don't like musical theater because the only thing they've seen is the high school production of
Said play.
Sound of Music, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, that's dumb. You know, and I had to watch all the people around that were in the play, like walk around the hall, like, you know, practicing, and like they dance up to each other, and if you're not into that, you're just annoyed. Like, you know, the theater kids like dance. Like, I was in the play, I was in the Fiddler on the Roof in high school. Like, the theater kids, there's like theater kids who do multiple things, and there's theater kids who that's just their thing, and the theater kids who that's just their thing. You know, as opposed to
Now
like,
we're all gonna break out into song.
they like
in the cafeteria.
They like dance up to each other when they see each other, or like they do like a little twirls and stuff, and you're like, you know, like, I am enjoying the play. Like, there's hot girls here, but I'm not dancing up to you, you know. So you get that. But if you see it, it's like the first, if I was taking you to a baseball game and you're like, I don't know if I like baseball. I'm like, no, you're going to love this. And I took you to like 6-year-old coach pitch. You'd be like, yeah, I don't know if I like it. Instead of like taking you to like a major league game.
These kids don't even know what base to run to.
Yeah, exactly.
So when did the hatred of pranks and jokes by the plebs start to get to you?
It's, you know what, like, I don't mind a good prank that's well thought out and executed well.
But it's just on April Fools that you don't.
But I'm
trying to dig down on this. Why?
On April Fool's, it's just like like, it's not like.
How did your father prank you?
Oh, he was an everyday pranker. An absolute everyday pranker. Every single day to everyone he ever met. Like, that's why I think I am the way that I am, which is why, like, saving it for one day and then, like,
irks you.
It irks, and then you got that like one a-hole in your office who's like walking around being like, "Hey, did you hear like Burt Reynolds came back from the dead?" And they're like, "April Fools." You're like, "Well, no, that's not believable anyway." And also, I think I know this, and we'll talk about it later because he gets a kick out of it. David Allen Smoke will walk in here today and will say a sports story about somebody in here that is not true because it's April Fools, and he does that kind of often. It was like, I thought it was his first thing, like when we first started working together. It was a game he liked to play to make sure I was on my P's and Q's and like doing my research and stuff like that. But it's the thing he likes to do.
You've just been around this now for 15 years.
Yeah, so I would say I blame him. I'll tell this to his face. I'm not talking behind his back. I mean, I'll send him this. You send him this clip if you want to. He does this. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And he'll love that I hate it. It's not going to make him stop it.
It's going to antagonize it.
It's going to, well, he's going to antagonize me. It's going to empower him to want to do it more. You know, but he would come in and be like, "Oh, hey, did you hear about, Jameis Winston tore his ACL?" I'm like, What? When we were first working it, like, you know, and I was like just on Twitter like 6 minutes ago.
I didn't see this.
And then I go and look, and he's like, "Ha ha!" I'm like, damn it, you know. So that's why I've become bitter and jaded.
Okay,
like it's really.
I will say,
Smokey can be funny, but it's when he's trying not to be.
That's fair.
He is funny when he's trying not to be funny. So
I will say, I think the reason that I don't necessarily hate April Fools. In general, I think I'm just a gullible human being. I think forever I will just trust you with what you tell me. I don't have to go look it up. Okay. And then I'll just go and tell that information. People are like, you weren't telling that to people, right? That was a joke. I've been saying that as gospel for like 2 weeks. I don't know what. Yikes. Okay, so I got people to call.
Yeah.
So I'm just a gullible person in general. Mm-hmm. But April Fool's harmless. In fact, I don't think I've been April Fooled in 10 years.
Okay. I'll tell you, he just sent the rundown for today's show.
Real time.
It says April Fool's Day on it. On it. As if this is a holiday.
Red, underlined, and everything.
In red. It's in red.
He's like an office gym prankster.
No, Jim is not an April Fool's Day guy. Jim does it every single day. April Fool's Day is the day he really probably shouldn't do it because it's funnier to watch Dwight be on the lookout for the April Fool's Day joke. And then nothing happens. That's the funnier
Michael
thing.
Scott's an April Fool's Day.
Michael Scott is an April Fool's Day guy.
Okay.
Yes.
I see the distinction that you're making here.
Yes. Now. You either live this life or you don't. Okay? You don't get to just walk into a place and be a fucking dentist for a day. All right?
Watch me. Lay down in that chair. I got some ideas.
Hey guys, June 10th. Guess what it is? Dentist Day.
Yeah.
Dental fools. So move aside, Doc. I'm pulling some teeth.
You ever think about you ever have a nightmare about being Freaky Friday?
A nightmare about it?
Yeah, just
no.
Oh no, I'm a pilot.
But body swap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm in the middle of surgery. That's what that's related to me.
That has never been done in a body swap movie where they just if the premise of the movie was everyone was body swapped for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you have to undo. It'd be dark. It'd be like a horror movie.
Well, it was oops, I quantum leaped into the president. What?
Yeah. Yeah. Did you ever see the original Quantum Leap?
No.
Oh, great show.
Great show?
Great show.
Didn't they try to remake it?
They did try to remake it. And it was, I didn't bother to watch it.
Okay.
Listen, no Bacula, no Catalina when it comes to that.
No Bacula.
No Bacula, I'm not doing it. Not doing it. All right, Royden, we have 10 minutes left.
Sure.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about your thoughts on the Final Four. 4 number 1 seeds.
Yay.
We
really did it, guys. We did it.
So,
you seen the meme of your girlfriend picking all 1 seeds and winning your bracket pool?
Yeah. This year, that would have dominated. So, that's essentially what Smokey did.
Exactly.
But it wasn't wrong.
No, it wasn't wrong.
The closest that we got to being wrong was a couple times was Florida. Houston had to battle back. Obviously, they won by 2. But
that's the best game of the whole tournament, by the way, Houston and Purdue.
Yeah. That out of bounds play that they ran for the game winning shot was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So we have Duke, Houston, Florida, and why am I blanking? Auburn. And everybody was right. Everybody was like, Auburn's dead coming into the tournament too.
Yeah.
Turns out when you have 5 25-year-olds, might be pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't have a thought other than the national championship is the Duke and Houston game, and I won't hear anything else. The national championship will be played between Duke and Houston, and whatever comes after that.
You know what? I love the matchup because they really do it's they can each solve each other's biggest strengths.
Yeah.
At times, and it's gonna to me that's
Hey, do you want to watch a ballet versus a monster truck rally? Duke and Houston.
Yeah.
Not saying that Duke doesn't play really hard-nosed defense, but what they gave up
Oh, yeah,
they're known to like Alabama scored 80 points on them.
Yeah.
Like
I think without,
Right?
I will say this, yes, but I do think that like with Alabama and as much as they shoot and all that,
Yeah.
you are going to, and they really did drill Alabama. Alabama like came back late, but and closed the gap, but that was never really a game.
No.
Mark Sears was awful, but yeah, I think they knew against Alabama, like, look, we're not going to be able to do all the defensive things that we do against other teams and get away with them.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna like, and they did. They banked on the fact that like Alabama just made 25 threes. They're not going to do that 2 games in a row.
Alabama didn't score. I mean, Arizona scored 93 on them.
Yeah,
Like, but they won 193
yeah.
in a college basketball game. That's wild.
And Caleb Love was like, "This is
A man on a mission.
This
Yeah.
could be my last college game." Like they are gonna scoop me off this floor.
Yeah.
Like it will be like there will be just a puddle with my jersey in it, and they'll be like, "Well, he gave it all he had."
Look, I think Houston. I'm just going off of my knowledge of what like when I watched Duke. I mean, eviscerate Baylor. The Baylor is like Houston drawn by memory, basically. Where it's like Houston isn't big.
Yeah,
They really aren't.
I mean they have 2 dudes. What's his name? I mean Jerron Roberts, who I love.
But he's also like he's 6'7",
yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Like, so Duke has enough to like counter what they're going to do. I'm interested to see like if Houston gets a. I love what Houston does, but I will say they are very good at like daring the ref to call a foul. They are in your shorts every play of the game, and it's just like call it. I bet you won't. I bet you won't foul out our best player. You know. Will Duke be hunting LJ Cryer on defense or on offense? Probably. Do they have are they going to be able to, is Houston with their lack of size going to be able to exploit anything on offense that Duke is throwing at them defensively? I don't know. Like I said, they're Baylor, but Baylor is Houston drawn by memory in that Baylor just could not get around those guys to get into the paint. Houston does everything that Baylor wants to do, but better. But I'm just interested to see if their size will exploit it. Florida and Auburn. The day that Florida misses a big shot will be the first day.
Yeah.
Oh my God! They just continue to just hit big shot after big shot, and they don't go away. I mean, Texas Tech knows that all too well. I kind of just like Florida in that game.
Yeah.
And isn't it crazy that we went from their coach being investigated for alleged impropriety to now they're going to just probably win the national championship?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Funny how that works.
Well, look, I
Was that him? That was him.
Todd Golden?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nope, it was. And after reading it, I'm inclined to believe that 2 things can be true, that he can be cleared and that he also did some things, But those things are, 1, investigated by a Title IX office, which has as much legal power as, the Muppet Babies pretending to be lawyers. Like, that's pretty much that. And then, does it, like, what he did, does he, does what he did raise to the standard of something that's a fireable offense, or just, like, don't do that anymore.
Yes.
Like, it's weird. Like, the devil's in the details, right? And so, I don't know. It just.
What do you think of the final format? I mean, all number 1 seeds, I think we got
here's the deal.
we were barreling towards this inevitable conclusion with the way that college basketball is right now. And people will be like, okay, well, better games. We'll see. But I don't know. What do you,
I look, I try to look at everything weekend by weekend now. And because every tournament's different. This only happened one other time before, and I think it's just going to happen all the time now. Like, it may happen more than it used to, but I still think that, like, basketball is a sport, though, that, like, you know, all it takes is, like, one team with a couple guys who slip through the cracks and a coach who's, you know, on the way up to wreck things.
Yeah,
right?
basketball more than any other sport is like the great equalizer is that just somebody that
there's
can
only
like,
5 guys on the court at any given time, you know, so it's not like you don't have to build a super deep roster. Like you just have to have dudes, right? Steph Curry was at Davidson.
Yeah.
Okay. Davidson. So like there's still going to be guys like Steph Curry who are at Davidson. Now they're at Davidson for not 4 years, but 2.
Yeah.
And then they explode and they get to go make money somewhere else, right? Last year with Oakland, like you had guys like, you know, one of their best players went to Arizona. You know, Townsend went to Arizona because he cashed in on it. So
you're not hand-wringing over this?
I'm not hand-wringing over it. I think I'll enjoy the basketball. Like, I'll enjoy, like, we're going to have 2 games that I think should
I'm
be
excited
really
for
good.
Duke Houston more than anything, any game.
Yeah. So we should have 2 really good games. Florida and Auburn know each other, so that should be a good game. Duke and Houston, like, again, it's this really intriguing matchup. So I'm glad that we get to see it. Like, a lot of times when you get, like, sometimes you think about it, like, the only time we get matchups like this is in the preseason
Bahamas,
when we're not
yeah.
the preseason in November when we're not watching, like when there's no stakes. Like to have these matchups across conferences with stakes, I like it. I do. I like it. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You know, am I more intrigued if there's a 7 seed in there or a, you know, like a couple years ago when we had FAU and San Diego State and, you know, UConn, you know, as a lower seed, although that was more of a mirage of a losing streak in the early part of the season before they became one of the most dominant teams of all time. So
I just like that it signals, or I dislike rather, it's kind of signals, and it's weird calling Houston a have, but they are in basketball, and with Fertitta throwing $1 billion at that program or whatever he's doing, but like it signals kind of a canary in the coal mine for me of like the haves and the have-nots.
Oh, it's going to be It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for other teams.
Now, will we have 4 1 seeds? I don't know, but will we have like 1, 2, and 3 seeds all make the final? I kind of think that's going to.
I think your 4s and 5s are going to have the harder road than they've ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the reason you were a 4 or a 5 is because the 1 and the 2 seed got the same guy in the portal that you were going after. Mm-hmm. You know, like, oh, hey, why is Florida a 4 seed this year? Well, because Alabama got the guy who shoots all the threes that they were going for.
Yeah, I was going to say, gone are the days of like the 8 and 9 seeds making the Final Four.
I don't think they're gone. It's just going to be harder. Yeah. I mean,
it will. I like just had like those 8 and 9 seeds had no like they were never like Baylor was never going to beat Duke. It just wasn't there. The talent discrepancy was like why, and you saw it all across the board. I'm not like the sky isn't falling on it, but I do think it may be a little bit of a shot across the bow of like, guys, we are barreling down the tracks of this being the college football playoff.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that's going to do it for us today on the program. Apparently, we have April Fool's Day nonsense.
Hey.
But we'll talk a lot of basketball, a lot of Buzz Williams. We have Bill Armstrong, new coach at McNeese State, joins the program. And the athletic director of Coastal Carolina will join the show to tell us about their free concessions at football games.
I was going to say, people
long.
were asking if that was an April Fool's joke, even though they did it yesterday.
It's real. It is real, and we're going to talk about with him today on 365 Sports. It's all coming up in an hour. See you then, everybody. Thanks to Royden. Bye.
Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox.